That it makes sense for an artist to sign to a major label?
I mean, I don't see the benefit.
And they definitely suck the creativity out of you. Take that however you want to do it. And that's what they're doing.
And once you start seeing your favorite artists go get a Popeyes deal before they put an album out, it's like, okay, the musicians are not.
The Popeyes deal.
They're scurrying.
What if we gave you your own sauce? I just don't want no sexy red sauce. That's all I know.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
If you don't know.
Maybe in my 20s.
Hey,
DIY.
DIYers, I'm a simple man. Shout out, first of all, Mark W. Official being here.
what's happening with you, fam?
I was good with you, bro. I'm a simple man. Idea Generation releases a new video. I react to it. I've been pretty consistent about that since I first, came across the videos here on YouTube, but they just do such a great job. And shout out to Noah, the host, who really dives into questions that I, as an artist, feel like I would ask a Joe Budden if I was sitting in front of him.
Thanks.
This interview just came out recently, and Joe Budden's talking about the music industry. He's talking about his voice in hip-hop media, but there's two particular sections that I want to zone in on. The first one here is talking about, should artists sign to labels? I just know Joe, I listened to a little bit of it, and I said, nope, that's a topic.
Yeah, no, we did stop it midway, but the way he looked like he was going, I'm probably going to agree with him.
Okay, well, let's see what he got to say here.
Do you think in the current climate that it makes sense for an artist to sign to a major label?
I mean, I don't. I didn't think that back then, but I mean, now more than ever, I don't really see it. I don't see the benefit.
Why not?
Because you used to have to rely on the label for almost everything, and today you don't. Back then, you couldn't distribute, you couldn't market, you couldn't pay for things, you couldn't hit radio, you couldn't get listeners without them. Today, if you have your own team to kind of take care of things, there's nothing that you pretty much cannot do. So what are you signing for? It's like, what do you want out of it?
The clout, baby. The clout, baby.
Look, the
cocaine on my I can't even get that off.
Oh, my studio budget.
The cocaine on my studio budget.
Facts.
Line number 32. Go ahead.
Man, I was going to say,
it's magic. Go ahead. I'm sorry. The bars is abundant. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you
slow it down. I just slow it. We can't get
that.
This.
That was my favorite line. Because I would hear it, and he would always
slow it down. I just dish you.
Slow it down. I just dish you.
The fact that he's on Wildin' Out and he's a meme now is crazy.
It's crazy.
Anyway.
With that said, man, what is your first initial thoughts on this? And that we're living in a space that does give us the freedom to do a lot of things on our own.
Right.
That you used to have to wait on a label for.
So first off, the fact that Joe Budden said, I don't see the need, I didn't see it back then, that's the part where I was like, what? You didn't see it back? Hold up. But
it was a thing to do.
It was a thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hold that against him on this one. This one is going to be like the thought of the access. That was my first thought. I think he's completely right in that you don't need the label to have the same type of access that you needed back when he was
that part
going out for it. Because remember, Pump It Up, let's really look at how long ago that was. And to have the access to radio, I want to say at least 25, if not 30. At least 25.
How did the going all digital impact your business?
Well, shit. At that point, I was fresh off of Def Jam. Got all my rights back from them. So there is really no business now. And again, just got by. Just got me by. That's what it did. Going all digital because it wasn't set up right. But great idea. Just too early.
So this is like pre-streaming.
Yeah.
Peak iTunes store.
Really early. But I mean, I think my first all digital release, I did 14,000 copies. Week one. The second week, I made it jump down to 8. It was great in hindsight, but it wasn't received that way. It looked like, oh my God, Joe Budden's cleaning on for dear life. But I was just trying to innovate. Now, there wasn't a album template that had to be followed. There wasn't a song structure that had to be followed. So if I just want to come out and rap 90 bars with no hook, then over.
And he took full advantage of that.
He sure did. I think a lot of people started doing it like, no, we don't need a hook? What?
It was that era. It was that era, though. It was that era. What was the name of that song? Was it called Therapy Session? What was the name of the song that he had? It was like 10 minutes, and he was just
I
letting
don't know
it
if
all.
it was therapy session.
What was
That
it
might have
called?
been a Slaughterhouse piece,
That's a-
or
that's a-
just before Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, but he had songs like that were literally him just saying like,
Yes.
here's what's on my mind, and I'm gonna give you this for the next 10 minutes, no hook.
Absolutely.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Nobody gives a fuck, and there's nobody trying to arrange this differently. So it was just creative freedom, and then Slaughterhouse comes into it.
I think the song is called 10 Minutes. Is it actually called 10
No,
Minutes?
for real?
I think that it was called, I think it was
You know what?
from Therapy Session.
At that, yeah, okay, there you go.
called
Thank
10
you. I knew it
minutes.
was a series, but I do think
That's
it
how
was.
you know a nigga don't care. When he just say,
10 minutes.
I don't got a title. How long was the song? It's clocking about 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
Look, that
10 minutes.
Game followed that formula.
1,000 bars and running. I'm
Bruh.
not 300 bars. I'll never forget.
Something stupid. I remember
It was
that.
300 bars when he dissed Joe Budden. I remember that. Because we still with G Unit. Remember
Okay,
that?
yes.
Distance.
That's like 09.
Yeah, 09. Births, Slaughterhouse, our debut on E1. From that, we go to Shady. We debut over there. Welcome to our
that was
house.
all bad.
And in that was Love and Hip Hop, 2012ish. So I'm going for it.
Just think about that. Going from this label situation with Def Jam to going to Shady where it didn't work according to what he had planned, and then going to Love and Hip Hop. I might podcast from there on now too. I might be done with this shit.
You know, the more
I might be done with this shit. You got a strong heart because he wasn't done. He got a strong heart.
he does, man. Like, the more I look at Joe and the more I realize, like, yeah, I think he made the right move for himself, because you can keep battling and keep landing in these messed up situations or realize the writing on the wall. The type of music that I do, that I like to make, that comes from the bottom of my heart, it's not being received the way I would like it to at a mass. And I think he even talked about it with the label deal. Like, we sold this much, people looked at it as a failure. I thought it was a win. That's cool to have that thought, but he also understands this is a business.
Yeah.
And they need a return on their investment. I'm not able to supply that return. Okay, I'll build my own infrastructure. I have control over that. I can say who comes in, who comes out. Now, obviously, he had a a rocky way of going into it with Rosenberg.
Rosenberg.
Had that rocky way going in
Right.
it. Then he had his two people, Maul and
Rory and Maul.
Rory and Maul.
Yeah.
So, you know, he had his rocky go of it, but, you know, he built his infrastructure and was able to get to where he's at. So I'm not really mad at the whole, you know what, y'all can have a rap.
he walked the route he was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And it makes me, I think, in listening to this and like really thinking about how many stories we're probably missing out on, I know we're missing out on, it does make me sympathize, because I always ask the question, I'm like, bro, you finally have a platform that gives you probably more reach than your label ever could with no restrictions.
True.
You got money now
True.
to reinvest into it. You have an audience that is so engaged with your thoughts, and some of them may be disconnected from
really
your
good
music.
go of it.
But fam, you have the perfect setup. But I can understand now after, and I'm just obviously just thinking from the outside, like you have that to do it, but I understand after a while, and I feel like labels do this on purpose, they specifically drain musicians, artists. I speak about our experience as black artists, black men and women out here who they take you of all your energy to where the only thing you have energy left to
Vampires.
do is pull out one of these podcast mics and go in and do that.
Vampires, bro.
Vampires for sure.
And they definitely suck the creativity out of you. Take that however you want to do it. And that's what they're doing.
That's number two, sir. The third one's going to be a strike.
That's all right. Give me all the strikes you want.
Let's see what Joe Budden has to say.
Hey.
Here we go.
You have to.
I'm going for it. I got a group, and we got Shady, and I'm gonna do Love and Hip Hop, and then I'm gonna put a solo album out. I got my Wayne single. I'm ready for war. And that was a shit show. My first stint on Love and Hip Hop. How do you tell a good idea from a bad idea? You do them all.
I heard that.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Definitely somebody who's had a story career. Now I want to move to this next part where he talks about the current shift in hip hop.
Yeah.
I haven't heard what he says, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited
We stopped
about
it
hearing.
just before. Yeah, I want to hear this.
I want to see what he has to say about what the current shift is occurring in hip hop.
It feels like hip hop has changed more through the pandemic than it has for quite some time prior to that, probably 25 years. I mean, I would go back to the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
From your vantage, what is that shift?
I felt like music was being devalued a few years ago after the pandemic. Once you start seeing your favorite artist put out an album every 5 years, and once you start seeing your favorite artists go get a Popeyes deal before they put an album out, it's like, okay, the musicians are not.
The Popeyes deal.
They're scurrying.
Who's sitting in a boardroom
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
and they're like, Mark, we need ideas. What are you thinking, man? Has anybody ever did anything with Popeyes? I know you guys may judge it. I know it's the stereotypes. What about just going with Popeyes before the project comes out? Hey, Lotto, what if we did this? What if we gave you your own sauce? I just don't want no sexy red sauce. That's all I know.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
If you don't know.
Maybe in my 20s.
Hey, no, not even in my 20s. Hey, look, had that.
I was a little bit, like the homie Noah said, I was a little bit AM, PM, nachos ratchet at that time. I was like 40, 45 to 55%.
You was one of the, no. You was one of the people that saw that they started offering hot wings and pizza at 7-Eleven and got excited. Then you
Convenience at a whole nother level.
So, I disagree with Joe in that music has been losing its way since before the pandemic. I heard that part. I was like,
I'm laughing through the pain.
and like, it was before that. But as far as like what to connect yourself with, as far as another marketing piece, you were just having a conversation with a mom earlier today. As far as like, oh, we could do this, tie with that. I think at a certain point, you do have to think outside of the box, but at whose expense? And in what sense does it make? Like, again, like I mean, it's funny, like Sexy Red or Lotto got the sauce, so we gonna give you the sauce. Nah, you reaching. Like,
Yeah.
At what point are we gonna go back to relying on, you know what, this music is dope. Let's find ways to get them to come back to the music.
Iman, I can see him now, screwing up they face, sizing up a square like me, like I'm out of place, like I'm out of pocket. Like my story not valid in these California alleys where I seen them getting active. Mama raised me in the church of a 54 and hoop. Around the same crib, we would live in seclusion. It was a couple of OGs looking after moms, the same ones that saw whips that would make them pause. It was St. Peter's Rock around 92. My mama had me sitting in that front pew. She played piano in a choir that I clung to. They would hug on me and tell me I'm your aunt too. They had on bamboo earrings, cross-color clothes. Give me anything that I want from the liquor store. On the floor, they would pray when they turn off the lights, cause every New Year's niggas busted the sky. I'm a South Central LA product to talk proper. Made it out the bottom, no fitting in 8 columns. Got some Trey Styles, and I really had no choice without my pops. I could've easily got
ghetto, but I'm representing for the West Coast. Always put the pedal to the metal, cause I'm representing for the West Coast. I'm always getting to the chili. Go take my resume, you feel me? All of that hate you need to let go, cause I'm representing for the West Coast.
My nigga, it kind of gives me going out of business sale type of vibes.
Ooh,
where
everything must go.
The prices get really desperate.
Yeah.
The positioning of the products is not strategic anymore. It's just convenient.
It's about the brand recognition.
The brand recognition, and also it's about just getting this stuff off the shelves and getting rid of the other stuff, and AKA dropping people from the label. I thought about this week when I was thinking about how much did the streaming websites contribute to the devaluation of music. We know that obviously the payouts is what a lot of these artists have been relying upon. You can call them stupid, you can call it whatever you want. A lot of these artists went through this for the first time and had no idea that it would be as low as it is for as much as they're performing it, right? But I think about the expenses of music in the 80s. Yeah. And we talk about it in the 90s. Now, obviously, it's become more accessible to a lot of us, so we can do things with very little. But I understand why those who have it are not doing it, but every 5 years, because look at the cost of doing it. And then look at what you're getting back if you don't have a deal aligned with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, right now, it's a lot of people who I feel like are in desperation trying to figure out, like, I want to make this.
Yeah.
But in order for this to make sense, I got to do a little bit of tap dancing on this side, or I got to align myself with somebody that I usually wouldn't do it. I really wish I could focus on just talking about, but dog, they get on these interviews, don't even talk about the music anymore.
To Tyler's point, the thing that you love me for, I'm not going to do.
Talking about the features maybe, but then that becomes a popularity contest. The feature now has officially become product placement.
Ooh.
And if they're scurrying, that means the execs and labels are scurrying. That means it's time to, music is cool as a focus point of this pod, but we might need to find other things to discuss because it's looked dim for a while.
Also, the median age of the crew here is probably late 30s, early 40s.
Will,
Yeah.
we don't give a fuck about the drill.
Well, that's what yeah.
Well, Ice does.
When I was gonna say, when it comes to Playboy Cardi or Yeet or, you know,
That's the most old head shit in the world. That's the most old head shit.
Yeah.
Look, last time I seen some shit like that on camera, Tyrese was in a headlock. Oh, youngsters.
Mama.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Call for your mama.
That's what I got y'all for. When I need to learn about that, I go right to Complex.
Man, and that's dope. Like, what a dope full circle moment.
I was gonna
for him
say,
to come
the
back
fact that he goes back to Complex.
It just clicked to me right
It
now. that he's
did.
back
Yeah,
here.
okay. We had the same, like, oh, yeah. Everyday struggle.
They don't owe you no money. They're good.
You
he don't
are
owe no
a
money.
man very familiar with controversy, and there have been efforts to cancel you, or however one wants to go about phrasing that. It feels like every year or two there is some wave, and I will look at Twitter and see Joe Budden trending and click and read about something.
I've been doing pretty good with that. It's been a lot less
Yes.
in recent years.
Has any of those efforts ever materially impacted your ability to monetize or to create
Fuck
audience?
yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
Which one?
I ain't saying it, but shit. Goddamn right. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, they were dark days. There were dark days where, you know, the branding wasn't the greatest. There were days where, you know, we lost a lot of money. We went through it. Yeah. So yeah, there's been very few of those moments in recent years, and you wanted to stay that way. Gone is rambunctious, rebellious, I don't give a fuck, full steam ahead Joe. Like, that ain't how we're dealing with things today, honestly.
Man, shout out to Joe Budden, man.
out to
Came
him.
a long way.
Yeah. Can I just make one observation? I
sure.
hope I'm not the only one who does this. If you back up that clip just a couple seconds,
Oh, Lord.
what was his off-brand Air Maxes looking? Or am I just not a fashionable dude? What are those? What are those?
Those are called the rich nigga ones.
I'm sure they money, but
no, they probably not. That's how he keeping his money.
facts. Well,
See?
look, if somebody in the chat knows what those are, please educate me, because I'm like, what the fuck?
It's the RN ones. I told you, it's the rich nigga ones.
No, that looks like the Kmart special. Kmart ain't even a store no more. That looked like the Kmart
I
special.
wish I'd have been more Kmart special about my
Hey,
purchases.
look.
There's a lot of shoes. I got these damn Griffies downstairs. Let me go start. It's in on that note. Let's talk about that. I got some damn Griffies downstairs. I had all the sneakerhead homies like, hey man, they got these seawater Griffies, bro. They green and they black and they got a crazy design. I've been looking for these all my life as a kid. One of the homies was like, I think I found a link for you. The shoes were originally $160 when they came out.
Right. How much are they now?
$700.
Get the. You didn't buy those.
I hope so.
Did I buy them? You passed them up on the way up
I
here.
did, but I'm hoping
And they're
like
not in a trophy case.
I'm just hoping like you wear them.
I was
Actually, you know what? If I pay that much money for a pair of shoes, I'm wearing them things.
I did, but it don't match everything. Like I had to
Oh,
make
no.
everything match.
When they $700, they match everything. They match everything.
Got an all pink fit.
You know what I'm saying?
Green
Like,
always goes with pink.
seaweed green. I'm with it.
Nobody, including my parents, had saw the amount of money that I was making. At that time, at least, I couldn't necessarily go to them about the needs that I had because I was a different age when I got the money. I had different overhead, right? I wasn't, I'd have a baby on the way or nothing like that. Like I had different overhead, and I'm in an industry where you got to look the part for people to invest money into you. Whew. I remember Russell Simmons said, he said, if you don't look like money, investors won't invest into you.
That's crazy to me.
Because why would they?
Right.
Like, if you don't look like something profitable, it is not a wise decision to invest into that.
No,
unless you see the
completely get
vision of that. Maybe they can't see.
I completely get it. Like, if you don't look like something that can make me money, why would I give it back into you? If you look like you know what you're doing,
was crazy. But go ahead.
I mean, had that. If you look like something I can't invest.
No!
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I can't have a serious moment here. This is the most unserious
Hell
podcast.
no. Look, I knew how this was going. Y'all wasn't here for all these conversations before the mics got set up. It could have been way worse. Hey, when the mom was on the phone,
I apologize.
they look a 10-minute conversation took like 4 hours. Like, it was amazing. So if you don't look like money, if you don't look like you know what you're doing when you got money, why would I give you more of it?
Unless I had an interest rate that was crazy, and
Or unless I just had the money to fuck off. Like,
I mean, some people like to be
some people like to trick.
frivolous with their
Some people
money.
like to trick their money because they got it. But most smart investors aren't going to do that. So I mean, I was blessed in a situation where my parents did touch a little bit of money before I reached the age of, I want to say 25. And because of how they went about it, they surrounded themselves with money. When I say money, like I told you, one of my father's close personal friends. There's another close personal friend I'll tell you about after this. If my brother's in the chat, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you look like you know what you're doing, we're liable to put more money into you. And then surrounding yourself with people who also have the means, culture begets more culture. Like if you are just around it, you kind of, by osmosis, you know what to do with it.
You attract it. You attract it because you are it on many levels. Afro Butterfly says wearing your money makes you a walking target. The insane. Well, if we take that notion, I think I'll let you get.
No, go ahead.
But I was gonna say, I think the insane thing about it is that I've always had this criticism, and I know you can't blame the labels entirely about this, but it's one thing when you're walking around with all of your money, right? And you look like your money. It's another thing when a label has the relationships and ability to broadcast your killer mentality, we'll say. They broadcast your street
That was good.
activities.
That was good.
They
That was good. I see what you're
broadcast, how rich you are.
Yeah.
And they broadcast that to the world.
Yeah.
So you can't even sleep peacefully in another country because it's part of the marketing rollout for people to know you're a money phone rich rapper.
Yeah. You talk on the money phone. Yeah, I think
Crazy.
Well, let me first address Afro. Like, yes, wearing your money is stupid. Like, that's wearing your money is stupid. Like, if you think this costs what it looks like, this right here, it didn't. But there's a point there. But I think in terms of looking like money know what money look like.
Yeah, and
Just-
it's real subtle.
Yeah,
subtle.
real recognize real.
I didn't met a great amount of millionaires. Never billionaire, but I met millionaires. And
I've
I'm
met
like,
one billionaire in my life.
I'm like, you don't wear your. If they do, it's like
That part.
this cufflink.
Look.
This cufflink is from Italy.
Again, like I already
$70
know.
million.
$70 million.
Why would he have a $70 million cufflink?
Hey, look, when Denzel was like, "This is alpaca," you block that shit. Look, it's a real thing. Like, real money is subtle. Real money don't flash, and they know what it look like when they come into the room. Because I've seen people with money look at those who ain't got money and like, "Oh, that's cute."
Oh, you doing all that?
Yeah,
all that
and they ain't about to
nonsense.
talk to you for real. They just gon' like the ones who do have it, and that's the same like with this culture piece or with the stuff you've been talking about. That's why I'm glad you covered it, but I never felt the need to say anything about Drake because it's like what I need to talk about.
We already know
Like,
what's
we already know
what's
what it
known
is.
don't have to be spoken about.
But
right?
when it comes to these labels, like they gotta know they're gonna get a return. Do I know that you can handle this? Do I know that you can do with this what you will? And to what Joe was saying on that last piece, which was like, hell yeah, I lost money because I'm making brands look bad. But and it's the definition of standing on business. At the end of the day, you gotta respect at least that. You might not like what he's saying, but he's standing on business.
And I love to see where he's at. DIYers, those are our thoughts. You let me know what you think of that. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.